Many of you who are joining us now, when you registered, you were asked to submit some questions with your registration. Thank you so much. Some really good questions we have to go over today. This group's going to try to answer all of those questions. We do have only an hour and 15 minutes, so if we don't get to all of them, if you have additional questions at the end of our time together, we'll provide an email address so that you can send your questions there, and then we'll filter them and make sure they get appropriate answers. Just a reminder, today's webinar is being recorded for future use. We hope that we'll be able to reach a lot of people with our message. So let's get started. We're going to dive right into our questions. First, let's talk about how are children talking about national and local gun violence. And Ashley, we'll let you kick it off for us.
So our kids are talking about it, all age groups. And gun violence is a very real and a very rational fear. One of the fundamental basic needs for a healthy child development is having a safe and supportive environment. And right now, during these times, our kids are dealing with issues of gun violence, racial injustice, income inequality, a global pandemic, climate change, and a bunch of adults and leaders on TV aggressively coming at one another and not handling conflict in the best way. So our kids are faced with adult issues every day, and the feeling of safety, while it needs to be a priority, these kids don't feel safe. And whether they're at a young age or as teenagers, you see them expressing it on social media a lot more. Sometimes they will joke about it, but their behaviors and their anxieties related to gun violence are drastically increasing. The CDC put out recently that 44% of youths, and I think that that's a low number, but 44% of youths are experiencing feelings of persistent sadness and hopelessness. Suicide rates among adolescents and teenagers are drastically on the rise. And our kids don't know how to handle conflict or handle these emotions. A lot of times they'll communicate their fears, but you'll see them communicating through their behaviors as well, where you can see kids are just a lot more dysregulated. They're seeking adults that are safe a lot more to be able to talk about their anxieties. And more often, we're seeing kids that are thinking through different situations on how they can be safe. For example, where they're seated, we have kids that want to face the door so that they know if someone comes in, how to prepare themselves. And if you look developmentally 10 years ago, those weren't topics being discussed.
And Ashley, let's talk